Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the world of artificial intelligence. I know, it sounds super complex, but stick with me. By the end of this, you're going to have a really simple, clear map of what it is, how it actually works, and why it seems to be, well, everywhere. Okay, before we dive into any big definitions, just think about that for a second. How many times did you use AI today? Because I bet the answer is way, way more than you think. This isn't some science fiction concept anymore. It's already woven into pretty much everything we do.
I mean, seriously, think about it. When you unlock your phone with just a look, that's AI. That moment when Netflix just knows the perfect movie you're in the mood for, yep, that's AI too. Or how about Google Maps predicting traffic almost perfectly? Even the little things, like Gmail catching all that junk mail for you, or Amazon suggesting your next purchase, it's all powered by AI.
So, let's start at the very top, the big picture. What are we really talking about when we use that phrase, artificial intelligence? Okay, so at its heart, AI is this huge, all-encompassing field. The main goal? To build machines that can do things that normally you'd need a human brain for. Stuff like spotting patterns, understanding what we're saying, or making sense of an image. It's the whole universe of smart computers. Now here's where it gets really cool. How does most modern AI get so smart? Well, now we're zooming in a bit into the most important part of AI today, machine learning. You can think of this as the engine that drives pretty much all the examples we just talked about. So get this. Instead of a programmer sitting down and writing millions of lines of code with if this, then that rules, we do something totally different. We just hand the machine a mountain of data and let it figure out the patterns and rules all by itself. It literally learns from experience, kind of like we do. And this nails the difference perfectly. With old school programming, we give the computer the rules and the data, and it spits out an answer. But with machine learning, we flip that completely on its head. We give it the data and the answers, like here's a million emails and here's which ones are spam. And the machine's job is to figure out the rules for itself. It's a total game changer.
So if a machine learns, how do we actually teach it? Well, it turns out there are three main methods, three different teaching styles, you could say.
First, you've got supervised learning. The best way to think about this is like studying for a test with a complete answer key. We show the machine tons and tons of examples that are already labeled. This is a cat. This is a dog. This email is spam. This one isn't. The computer's job is just to figure out the connection between the question and the right answer. And this approach is amazing for two kinds of problems. The first is classification, which is basically just sorting things into buckets. Is it spam or not spam? The second is regression, which is all about predicting a specific number, like what's the price of this house going to be in 6 months?
All right, next up is unsupervised learning. With this one, we take the answer key away. We just dump a massive, messy pile of unlabeled data in front of the machine and basically say, go figure it out, find some patterns. And it does. It might start grouping news articles by topic or customers by their shopping habits, all without us telling it what to look for.
And the third way, and this one is really cool, is reinforcement learning. Honestly, it's just like training a dog. The AI, which we call an agent, tries things out in an environment. When it does something good, it gets a reward, like a digital treat. When it does something bad, it gets nothing. It learns purely from trial and error. This creates this incredible feedback loop. The agent tries something, sees what happens, gets a reward or a penalty, and then tweaks its strategy. It does this over and over, millions, even billions of times, getting a tiny bit better with each attempt. This is exactly how AIs learn to master super complex games, and it's a huge part of how self-driving cars learn to handle tricky road situations. Okay, so now we're going to zoom in one more level. Inside machine learning, there's this really powerful technique called deep learning. If machine learning is the engine of AI, then you can think of deep learning as its brain. So deep learning uses something called artificial neural networks, which, as the name suggests, are inspired by the web of neurons in our own brains. These networks have tons of layers, and that depth lets them learn really, really subtle patterns in messy, unstructured stuff, like photos, music, and just plain text. The way it learns is just fascinating. First, it makes a guess. Then, it checks to see how wrong its guess was. And then, this is the magic part, it works its way backward through all those layers, making tiny adjustments to its internal connections to try and be less wrong next time. It just repeats that loop over and over and over, getting smarter each and every time.
And that intense learning process brings us right to the center of our map and to the technology that has just exploded into everyone's lives recently, generative AI.
See, everything we've talked about so far has been about AI that analyzes or classifies or predicts things. Generative AI is different. It doesn't just understand the data it was trained on. It uses that understanding to create something totally new and original. It's not just an analyst, it's a creator.
If you've ever played around with ChatGPT to help you write something, or used Midjourney to create a wild image just from a few words of text, or seen those mind-blowing videos from Sora, you've used generative AI. It can create text, art, music, even write computer code.
And really, that brings us to today. We've gone from machines that just followed our instructions to machines that could learn the instructions. And now, finally, to machines that are actively creating new things for our world. So the question isn't just what can AI do anymore? The real question is, what are we going to ask it to create next?